All right, and welcome to Washington Commanders Insider. Today, we are talking about the key takeaways from the Washington Commanders win versus the New Orleans Saints. And so, with this win against the Saints, I believe that the Washington Commanders now have, I think, about an 85% chance to make the playoffs, which this is great news for us Washington Commanders fans because let me tell you something. It is great to have a team that is winning again. And so, let's go ahead and look into some of these key takeaways. I went to this article and I think it brings up some great points. But let's start with a key fact that I just thought was wild here when I looked at this. But anyway, that this is the first time that the Washington Commanders have won after a bye since 2002. So this was the stat that was in this article right here. The last time the team won on the road after a bye week was in week 5 of 2002. That is just phenomenal when you look at it. And I looked at it some more. The last time that the Commanders in 2002, so we had Shane Matthews, Patrick Ramsey, and Danny Warfel were on the roster, right? The last time that the Commanders were able to get this done. And so that is an incredible stat. And so a good job for the Commanders as far as taking care of business on the road. So next up, looking at some key takeaways, I think that for me, it starts with the time of possession. And so when I look at that, I thought that that was huge for the Commanders going out there, taking care of the time of possession yesterday, because look, they dominated in the sense that they held the ball for 40 minutes and 50 seconds. And so that's great to win the time of possession. The Commanders have a good winning record when they do dominate the time of possession. And to be honest with you, this game should not even have been this close, considering that the Washington Commanders really, I think, just dominated, I think, throughout this game. And so next up, I think another thing that should be talked about here is just the defense that the Washington Commanders really brought to the table as far as taking away, Alvin Kamara. I think that they did a terrific job with him. I talked about how he just needed about 68 or 62 or 68 yards just to be a 1,000-yard rusher this season. This is something that the Washington Commanders have really been struggling with, I think, all year, and that is stopping the run. We've been getting gashed and whatnot. And so for the Commanders to be disciplined here, I know that the Saints were playing, with their third string quarterback. I don't care. You need as much momentum as possible, especially if you're trending towards going to the playoffs here. And so to get a stop against him, I think that was great because this Commanders team, look, it was going in tied for 31st, giving up 5 yards a carry. So that was a great job for the Commanders defense taking care of business. And speaking of defense, what about Marshawn Lattimore? Like, I think if you did not watch this game and you went to the stat sheet, you would probably be wondering, did he play? Well, he did play. I think he was huge, and he just really just shut down the field that he was on. And so this is great news for the Washington Commanders. I think that just in this week 1, this shows us that we probably have, I think, won this trade because not only did he shut down his side of the field, but guess who got an interception? It was Mikey Sainristil. And I've been talking about Mikey Sainristil. I've been talking about how his coverage has gotten better, been raving about him. And I think that now he's going to have a lot of opportunities there. And I think that as this season continues to go along, I think people are going to look at Mikey Sainristil and say that this guy, he's special for the Washington Commanders. I think that they definitely got one on the defensive end here. And so I think that this is really going to unlock this secondary. And I think that this is also going to help this team as far as just, taking care of business, down the stretch here, because now when you have a secondary that's able to take away the plays down the field, I think that your defensive line now can focus on winning the trenches now, making sure that you take away the run first. And I think with the pass coverage behind you, now you just know that you just have to pin your ears back and get to the quarterback. And so with those added pressures, you're going to force quarterbacks into some errant throws and throw them into some situations that they probably don't want to be in. And we trust that Marshawn Lattimore and Mikey Sainristil and this secondary is going to take advantage of that. So next up, they talk about the 8 sacks here. I know that we did not, necessarily have a full strength out there with the center position, but Look, man, the 8 sacks, I think that that is just really unexcusable for the Washington Commanders here to have 8 sacks against the Saints. And make no mistake about it, look, the Saints are a tough team out there. I just think that at the end of the day, man, we have got to address that. You cannot be giving up 8 sacks out there in any game. I don't care if it's in just the regular season, playoff game. And so we've got to do a better job as far as protecting Jaden Daniels here. So the 8 sacks is something that definitely we have got to correct. So next up, just moving forward, another thing to really take away is just the fact that we were able to take care of business on third down. And so in this article, it talks about the fact that the Washington Commanders have went from a bottom 10 as far as in the league to now converting at a high clip on third downs. And I think mainly what that comes down to is just the fact that the Washington Commanders do a great job as far as taking care of business early on in the downs. And so that's why you run the football so well, because if you do, then you're going to put yourself in a great situation to get that third down conversion. Because right now, going into this game, the Commanders were sixth on third down conversions. They were fourth in the league as far as points scored at 28.9 points per game. And so I think that the Commanders have done a terrific job there. And even when we're behind in the sticks, I think that because you have Jaden Daniels, who is a dynamic quarterback that can get it done as far as running the football and really passing it as well, then you always have a chance to get those first downs as well, because this is a team that has shown that it will go for it on fourth down too. So make no mistake about it. Like, I love the way that we approach it when it comes to getting these third downs. And, Jaden Daniels yesterday had 11 carries for 66 yards. He was getting 6 yards a carry. So that's obviously going to be huge if you're trying to get close to that first down marker. So this was another great point and a key takeaway, I think, from this game. And so, these are just some key takeaways from this one. For me, I think that, the Washington Commanders could definitely play a lot cleaner of a football game. I talked about the 8 sacks that we gave up. That's something that we cannot do. And then also, too, just playing down to the opponents. I think that, the Washington Commanders had several times where they really could have took advantage of just, some field position and some opportunities to, get some more points on the board. Yesterday, I think, was very sloppy for us because we've been a very good disciplined football team as far as penalties are concerned. But yesterday, look, it was just inexcusable. 9 penalties for 84 yards is something that we have to clean up. I know that you could chalk it up and say, well, maybe it was just the rest for this game. It's possible, but you don't ever want to beat yourselves. And that comes down to turnovers, and that comes down to penalties. These are things that the Washington Commanders have got to get better at. But make no mistake about it. Look, we have an 85% chance to now make the playoffs, which is huge for us. We're 9-5. That is big for us. And so, for us to go out there, win after a bye week, and really you're going against a Saints team that had some momentum going into it. So you got to give them some credit as well. But look, the Commanders are in a good situation right now. They're in the driver's seat to go out there and possibly make some things happen here, because next, I think that this is going to be the game that we've certainly circled on the calendar. It's the Eagles. And because with the Eagles, with us winning, we still have a chance at this division. And so, if we can get this game against the Eagles and we can finish out strong, who knows what will happen. And so anyway, I'll be seeing you guys on the next video. This is Rico. This is Washington Commanders Insider. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.